Hi, this is James again, and as you can see, the photo that was in the last video, there's a watermark. I finally found it, and it's MEKA is the artist of this. It's their water tag. And the last part, I think we left off where Mitsuki, Katsuki, and Izuku and Kazura went out to dinner because they haven't seen each other in a while, and Izuku and Katsuki had just finally finished up, and they had gone showered and they went out to eat. So over the dinner, like in the last part, Katsuki and Izuku kind of explained that Izuku's quirk evolved a little bit, and it basically increased the power of Katsuki's abilities and stuff as well, and that's how they were able to play off the fact that because of that's how they were able to keep the one for all secret from Mitsuki. And she's like, okay, sounds reasonable, because quite frankly, the stuff that has happened with Izuku over the years, not too much can really surprise her anymore when it comes to Izuku and his quirks. So that being said, they go home. They go back to they Izuku and Katsuki take Mitsuki and Katsuri to the hotel that they're staying at and everything. So they make sure that their mom and little sister gets into the building safely, and then they catch a cab back to campus because they still are in the dorms. They still have to be in before a curfew at 8 o'clock inside the dorms, and then it's lights out at 9 for them. But today, Izuku and Katsuki go to bed a little bit early because they have a ceremony, and they usually get up at 5 to do some exercises. But today, they're going to get up at 4. They wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they do their morning routine on a very, they do half of their morning routine where they run 2 miles, do 100 push-ups, 100 lunges, 100 pull-ups, and 50 hanging sit-ups, 50 regular sit-ups. Hanging sit-ups are basically where you hold your feet onto a bar, and then you just pull yourself up, and it works on a different muscle group than a regular sit-up. And this is half of what they normally do. They would normally run 4 miles, do 200 push-ups, 200 lunges, 200 pull-ups, 50 hanging sit-ups, and 50 regular sit-ups. Just to they wanted to do it light because they do have to travel today, and they don't want to be exhausted because they still do training throughout the day. So they come back to the dorms, and they go get showered and cleaned up, and it takes them about 2 hours. They decided to go light today because they wanted to kind of relax today. They were kind of just relaxing, and they just do a normal morning workout. That being said, after the showers, as they're coming down with their bags and stuff, they hear their little sisters where's Big Bubba's at? Where's Bubba's at? And they kind of come down a little bit faster than, and then Katsuri sees them, and she starts running to them, and Katsuki kind of is the first one, and kind of picks her up, and he's like, so you gonna help us carry these? And she's like, uh uh because they're holding big bags, and she's like, I don't think I can lift that. And Nizuka just starts laughing, and then just ruffles the hair on her head. And when I said last part that Katsuri she didn't fall too, like the apple didn't fall too far from the tree. Basically, she looks like a much younger version of Mitsuki, and they kind of have the same personality. So, that being said, they go out, they get their bags ready, and there's a transport that will ship their belongings back to the Bakugo's residence. And then they go out for dinner, for breakfast, and Izuku's kind of wearing a suit like this. Like, you take off the overcoat, and Bakugo's kind of dressed like this. I believe these are the same artist. I couldn't find the watermark on this one. I'll keep looking, and I'll point it out in the next video of it. But basically, they pretty much look the same. Like, where Katsuki has like the orange, Izuku has like green, like a dark green, like almost blue, like this one. And they go out for breakfast and everything, and they go to this diner, and the diner is like, oh, like the waiter walks up, and she begins to slip, and then in the fraction of a second, Izuku catches her, and then Katsuki catches like all the other stuff, and Izuku's like, I'm not gonna be here that much longer. I won't be in here as much as we used to. You can't keep slipping like this. And the waiter just kind of blushes and like composes herself and gets off, and she asks like, so I guess like today's the day you guys graduate from the academy. And they're like, yeah, we decided to go home and not apply for like not do the 2 years, because our little sister, she's getting a little older, and we want to like spend more time with her and more time with our parents before we start working on getting into UA. And at this point, the waiter says, with how strong you two are, I'm pretty sure you'll get in. And Katsuki just kind of laughs, just like, yeah, Izuku, you better get in, because if not, it's gonna be funny. And Izuku kind of laughs at this. And so they eat they get their meal and everything, and then when Izuku goes to pay for it, the owner, the cook, is like, no, you guys' breakfast is on the house today. It would consider it a graduation and a goodbye gift. And Izuku says, thanks, Luke-san. We'll come back and visit sometime. And Luke is like this big, muscular guy, and it's like, okay, that's okay. So then they get back to the building that they normally go to train at. And All Might's just standing out there waiting on him. And when he walks up to him, and Nezu's next to him as well and everything. And they do the whole formalities. They go into a room, and there's another boy. There's like 2 other people standing there. Like 2 other kids. And the Izuku, like, and they're like, yes, these 2 will be going through the same program as you guys did, and they are a few years younger than you guys. Like, they're smaller kids, and Izuku and Katsuki just kind of walk up to them and put a hand on their shoulders, and they were like, keep it up. One day you guys will get, this program is worth it. We learned a lot from the pros and more about ourselves. And the kids are just looking at these 2, and they're like, whoa, that's them. and so, hold on. Sorry about that. Like, someone was knocking at the door and I had to go see what they wanted. So I believe we were at the ceremony. So All Might is standing there and he's like, "Young Katsuki Bakugo, please come here. When you first started this program, you could barely control your quirk, and you've come a great deal of long ways. Like, you've exceeded our expectations with this program. I have no doubt that you'll become a great hero one day." And this is what and he hands him a medal, like he hands him like a binder with his graduation certificate and all this stuff, and then he's like, "Young Gizuku Midoriya, please come here. As with Katsuki with young Bakugo, you have shown great improvement in personal growth. When I first met you, you barely spoke a word. Now you will actually talk to strangers. Like, you used to be so instant, but it's pretty understandable considering all the tragedy that you went through when you were a young boy, with your father passing at a young age, and then a few years later with shield mating, your mother passing." And so when All Might says this, the other two boys are like, "He's shield maiden's son," and they are just kind of baffled. And so we get back to All Might, and he's like, "So with this, it's great to see that how much you've grown, and it's been a pleasure to be your teacher for these past couple of years and your mentor. I hope you two keep up the good work." And so All Might and Nezu here and a few of your other instructors would like to say a few words. So Recovery Girls comes up and she basically explains that Izuku has done wonders with his one of his quirks, and that he's been through a lot, and he exceeded her expectations. She never thought that he would get any better with it because it just seemed like he was very shut in when he first arrived here. And he's grown quite a bit emotionally, and he's matured quite a bit since the little brat. You two have like matured a little bit since the little brats that you used to be. Just kind of like jokingly smirking at them. Then Nezu comes up and he's like, "Well, I can't really say much more than what All Might and Recovery Girl have said. Though there is one thing, I hope you two want to go to UA, because you two do definitely have what it takes to make it." And with that, they kind of go through like each instructor, like explaining like how proud they are of the two, and how much work and effort that they put in to keep up not only with their quirk training, like their special quirk training and everything, but also keeping their grades up in the school. And Izuku and Katsuki are just sitting there, and they're thinking like, "Whoa, we really have changed quite a bit since then." And it's just that shock of realization, because they haven't really sat back and looked at like where they came from. And so like the ceremony wraps up and they say their goodbyes to their friends at the academy and everything, and they wish them good luck, and their friends say, you guys too, we hope to see you guys again." And they're like, "Definitely, and if you're ever in our hometown, just come by." So that goes on. They grab like the suitcases that they have and everything. And they pretty much go back home to the Bakugo's place. In this, and then after this, they have about a month before classes start. Mitsuki explains to them that she can't really do they can't really do homeschooling because both her and Mazura like work. So they're like, okay, I guess we'll go the last 2 years. Like, we'll go like the last 2 years to public school and just kind of do our own like studying thing. So like they go back to like what their normal middle school would have been in canon. And at this point, like they're both like a little bit bigger than what they were because of the nutrition plan that they were on and everything was super strict to like so that they could develop fast, like so they could recover faster. So some of the kids are kind of looking at these two new kids that are in their classes now, and one of them walks up to them and is like, Midoriya? Bakugo? Is that you? And like both Izuku and Katsuki kind of look up at the kid and they're like, oh, it's you. You're the guy with the wings, right? Or no. Wait a minute. You're the stretchy boy kid, or whatever. And like they kind of just blow everyone off. They pretty much keep to themselves. Everyone knows, like, because when they first got there, like some kid tried to like bully Izuku, and Katsuki kind of got in between the two and like and that the kid and sent him flying, and then Izuku kind of like swinged around Katsuki and kind of like knocked him out too, and he's like, I didn't need your help, Katsuki. Jeez, stop doing that. And then Katsuki just kind of gets up and he's like, dude, you know, like, you're the shield, I'm the sword. That's how this thing works between us two. I'm the one that does most of the attacking, you do most of the defense. And both Izuku and Katsuki kind of start laughing. And since that, everyone just kind of left them alone. About halfway through their 13th year, Izuku and Katsuki have Katsuri, and they just call her Suri Chan, and like they're kind of watching her because Mitsuki was doing some grocery shopping, and Katsuri wanted to like go hang out with their brothers, so they decided to just go out one day. And then on the way home, Izuku's like, he's kind of sniffing, and then he's like, Katsuki, I've smelled this before. I don't know where, but like I've smelled this smell before. And he's going around, and he's kind of following his nose because he does have slightly better senses than a normal person. And he's sniffing and he's smelling and everything. And he comes up to a group of girls sitting at a coffee shop, and he's like smelling, and he's like, he walks up to them and he's like, have we met before? Like, this may sound weird, but like part of my quirk, like I can smell things, and one of you have a familiar scent. And one of the girls is kind of looking, and it's a girl with there's a couple girls there, but one of them has long jet black hair, and she's sitting there reading a book, and she kind of looks up, and she's like, that's weird, that looks like... And then Katsuki comes up behind him, and he's like, Izuku, come on, man, like, we have to be watching Suri. And Izuku just turns around. He's like, Kachan, like, seriously, you had her. I know nothing's gonna happen. And like, I don't know. Like, for some reason, this sentence seemed very familiar for some weird reason. Like, it's something I haven't smelled in a long time. And at this point, if you haven't figured out who it is, Momo stands up and she's like, wait a minute. Are you two... Wait. What? You two have gotten big. Like, I haven't seen you two in, like, over 10 years. And I haven't seen you guys in, like, almost 10 years. Haven't seen you two since. And Izuku's like, wait a minute. You're the girl that was at Dad's funeral. And Momo kind of looks at him like in shock. And she's like, wait, you're not... Yeah, After my mother passed, I was in a dark spot and we kind of did all this. What are you doing? What are you guys doing here? Last I heard, your family was like overseas because of what happened to Dad. Like, your dad had to go and deal with it. And she's like, yeah, we got back and I've just been hanging out, doing my tutoring and stuff because Dad wants me to, like, take over the family business, but I want to go to UA and stuff. And Yuzuki's like, well, I hope to see you guys there. Me and Katsuki are kind of hanging out with our little sister. And they kind of exchange contact information, not like wanting to hang out ever so often. And yes, Yaoyorozu will be Momo will be doing the recommendation route and everything. So everything like that's gonna happen in canon, where Todoroki goes through the recommendations and everything. And so, like, they're going around, like, they spend, like, the rest of the summer hanging out with Kitsuri, kind of watching her for their mom and everything, and just generally enjoying their time and everything, because they're kind of just waiting. And then one day, like, towards the end of summer, that was, like, that weekend, it happened on a weekend towards the center of the thing. So, towards the end, I would say a month before school, before the start of the anime, they, like, Izuku and Katsuki have kind of, like, moved away because they moved away from, like, each other. They're not really hanging out, like, all the time like they used to, because they've gotten a few friends and everything, and they kind of, like, start doing their own things. And Izuku still, like, kind of keeps to himself. He talks to Momo every once in a while, and they have, like, hung out and everything. And Izuku's kind of, he's like, man, she's kind of cute, but, like, she's not my type. And he's just kind of like that. And Momo's like the same way. She's like, she hasn't really thought about anyone like that before. And Izuku just likes the train a lot, and he just spends most of his time in the afternoon and leisure time listening to music and just working out. Like, he spends a lot of time at the gym, and Izuku and Katsuki kind of go to the gym every afternoon after school and just work out for a couple of hours, and then they go off and do their own thing. Like, they're still close, but they have other friends that they like hanging out with. And one of these times, Izuku's by himself. He's walking and everything, and he sees these two. He sees this kid with black hair, and he's standing there, and then he sees this big dude with muscles and stuff like that. Because, like, Izuku goes all over the place. He sees this big dude and this kid with black hair and kind of pointy teeth. And he's like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then he goes off because he was about to act because the big guy was obviously like a villain or something. And he's like, oh, I don't like do anything, but if he causes any trouble, I'm gonna have to act and everything. So he's just thinking to himself. And then, like, the situation is resolved with, like, no one getting harmed and stuff. And so Izuku just goes on about his way. And that summer, like, summer comes, and he tells Katsuki, he's like, yo, man, he's like, this is right around the start of the anime. Izuku is like on his trips again, and he bumps into this kid with red hair and pointy teeth, and he kind of looks at him and everything, and he's like, you seem familiar. Like, they kind of literally just bump into each other because Izuku was late to the gym, and he's sitting there, and Katsuki's kind of like texting him a couple times. He's like, where are you, dude? Like, what's going on? And that's because Izuku kind of had to like drop something off at Momo's place with Momo. So like Izuku told him, I'll meet you at the gym. So on the way there, he kind of bumps into this guy with red hair and pointy teeth, and he said, like, dude, you look so familiar. Wait a minute, did you dye your hair? And Kirishima is like, wait a minute, you're that kid, you're wearing the same, why do you wear that? Like, it's so thing. He's like, oh, this is what I normally wear. Me and a friend, we used to go to an academy, and this was kind of like part of their dress code, so we just got so used to wearing stuff like this. This is pretty much what our wardrobe is made out of. And Izuku's like, so what are you doing? Like, it seems like you're heading somewhere. And he's like, well, I was heading over to this one gym, and I kind of got lost, and I'm not sure where it's at. I heard like there's people there, like you can lift weights and everything, and people are allowed to use their quirks a little bit because of you just have to sign a waiver and everything saying that you're not going to like destroy property, and if you end up doing, you're responsible for the damages and stuff like that. And Izuku was like, oh, you mean this? I was actually heading there right now. If you want to come, I can show you. So Izuku and Kirishima show up, and like they've been talking, and Kirishima says, yeah, I've got to do some training so I can get into UA. Like, my quirk's kind of weak right now compared to like some other people's quirks. And Izuku's like, interesting, very interesting. And he's asking Kirishima's like, so why do you want to be a hero? And he's like, I don't want to be useless. Last time I couldn't help my friends, and like I don't want to be in a position where I can't do that again. And this is making Izuku think about to like how he was when he first started really going hard at training his quirk. So him and Kirishima arrive at the gym, and Katsuki kind of walks up to him, like, and he's like in his workout clothes, so like a a white undershirt tee and like gym shorts and shoes. And he's like, Izu, where have you been? He's like, and who is this redheaded fool? And Kirishima like, what'd you say to me? and Katsuki kind of walks up to him. You heard me, like, you fool. Like, you have red hair and you're a fool, especially if you're hanging out with this guy. And he kind of like punches Izuku in the chest, and there's an audible thump, and Izuku was like, "Yo, man, like that's kind of cool. Like he's wanting to go to UA too." And Katsuki's like, "Wait, you're wanting to go to UA?" And he's like, "Yeah, like I heard about this gym where like you can do some minor quirk training. Like you're not like limited to just your physical strength, but you can also get help to strengthen your quirk a little bit." And he's in there. And so the friendship between Katsuki and Kirishima actually starts sooner than what it does in canon. And so Izuku and Katsuki kind of like are doing their normal workouts, and they're kind of like showing Kirishima around the gym where the different areas, like there's an area so that they can like kind of do some minor like quirk usage, like, and most of the people that come to this gym have like strength quirks or something that involves like physical conditioning. So Izuku and Katsuki kind of like are talking to Kirishima, like asking like what does he want to do, and Katsuki kind of asks him like, why do you want to be a hero? He goes over the same thing that he did with Izuku. And Katsuki and Izuku kind of look at each other, and they both say, well, why don't we help you out with your quirk? Because like we just completed a program that helps people with quirk control, people that have a hard time controlling their quirks. And we've actually been planning on going to UA ourselves, and we were just going to do normal sparring and everything, but having another person with us can really help us with our training. And Kirishima's like, really? You guys would help me out with that? But you guys don't know us. And Izuku says, well, we want to be heroes. We want to be heroes that help everyone. Not just like major things, but like normal things. Like if an old lady needs to cross the road, like a hero should like help them. Like heroes is supposed to be like the epitome of like of the best citizen possible. And this is and Kirishima just kind of looks at Izuku like, wait, really? You really believe that's what a hero is supposed to be at? And Kirishima's like, man, that's so manly. Like you're very committed. And Katsuki says, well, he hasn't always been like this. He's kind of been like a crybaby and sheltered. And he's like, Gachan, don't go into that right now. Like we just worked out that if we get into a fight right now, we're gonna like hurt each other. And Katsuki's like, like I'd get hurt by you. And then Izuku kind of just looks at him and he's like, Kachan, really? You know, if we really went all out, I'd be the one that beat you. And then, like, a bead of sweat kind of comes down Katsuki's face, and he's like, yeah, if we really did go all out, you probably would beat me. Your quirks are more towards defense anyway, and mine are more towards attack, but your defense is so strong. And at this, like, Kirishima's just standing there looking at these two, like, whoa, like, you two are really good friends. And at this point, Katsuki goes, no, like, man, we're cousins, but ever since Izuku's mom passed, he's been living with us, and we've basically grew up together. Like, we've known each other pretty much our entire lives. Well, at least all of Izuku's life, because, like, I am older. and we're basically brothers. So Kirishima and everything, like, they make plans to meet up, and they give Kirishima directions to Shield Maiden's Beach and everything, and they're like, yeah, meet us up here on this weekend, and we'll go over everything. And so that goes on. Time skip to the weekend, and Izuku and Katsuki are just sitting there, like, they're sparring, like, they're doing light sparring and just working more on, like, their physical techniques and everything. And Kirishima comes there, and he just, like, before he even gets to the beach to see what's going on, he kind of hears, like, minor shockwaves, and he's like audible shockwaves, and not like really loud, but you can hear them for a little bit away. And then he notices that there's a group of people standing and watching, and like he walks up and he's like, yeah, what's going on? And it's like, well, we haven't seen them in a while, like they kind of come back, like I wonder when they got back here. And Kirishima like pushes through, and he's Izuku and Katsuki kind of going at it, like just doing karate, doing throws on each other, working on their techniques, and Izuku's kind of working on his defense and everything, his defense quirk, and Katsuki is kind of like trying to develop some kind of like defensive moves as well. And Kirishima comes running up and he's like, wait, guys, you're not supposed to use your quirks in public and everything. And like Izuku and Katsuki kind of stop, and they walk up to him, and he's like, well, the thing is, Izuku owns this place, owns this beach. So it's technically private property, and we kind of have permission from the city as long as we don't go overboard and destroy the surrounding area. We're allowed to use our quirks sometimes here. And he's like, yeah, but I thought this was Shield Maiden's beach. And he's like, yeah, that's what we named it. It's after my mom, says Izuku. And Kirishima just looks at Izuku and he's like, wait, you're Shield Maiden's son? Like, I've heard about her. Isn't she the one? And Izuku kind of looks down and he's like, yeah, like, she passed away, like, several years ago, from stopping a terrorist attack. She's kind of the main reason why we want to be heroes. Like, we want to be heroes like she was. She always helped everyone, like, no matter who they were and everything. And that's why I want to, like, be a hero. Like, she's the type of hero that I want to be. And Izuku and, like, Kirishima is just kind of, like, in awe about this, like. And so Katsuki says, well, I've got a friend that I've got to go meet up with, Izuku. Like, I kind of want to develop my own way, because if we ever have to, like, beat against each other, I want to have a few things you don't know about. And Izuku's like, haha, kind of figured, like, I was going to do the same thing. And so Izuku is there at the beach with Kirishima, and he's like, so, your quirk's hardening, right? And Kirishima's like, yeah, but it's kind of weak right now. And he's like, so, how do you know how it works and everything? And so Kirishima explains it, and Izuku's like, okay, so my quirk allows me to give, like, people a boost by marking them with and he's kind of stuttering, and then Kirishima's like, with what? And he's like, my blood. And Kirishima's like, whoa, dude, that's kind of weird. And he's like, yeah, it's not something that I like doing, but I feel like I can help you out with your training and everything, because another secondary effect of it is I can kind of, like, absorb some of the damage. So, like, I can basically heal you, and then my first quirk, Superhuman, gives me increased strength, regeneration, durability, and I can also move faster because of my strength and everything. Like, I'm not, like, superhuman in any of these aspects, but I am pretty strong. And then, like, my other quirks, we won't get into. Wait, you have more than 2 quirks? And you say, well, the superhuman and the blood thing are kind of one quirk, and then I have this enhancement quirk, so there's that, which does give me superhuman, but I kind of can't do it because it kind of hurts. So it hurts my body when I do use it, if I overdo it. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna kind of like mark you real quick, and like Izuku kind of pulls out a like he produces like some blood from his sweat, and he kind of like just taps Kirishima's like hand, like grabs Kirishima's hand and everything, and Kirishima just says, "Whoa, dude, this feels weird. It's like I'm full of energy." And Izuku's like, "Yeah, that's the effects of it," and it lasts about 30 minutes. And so what we're gonna do is you're going to harden as much as you can, like as much as you can, and I'm just gonna punch you. And Kirishima like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, "Yeah, like because I'm taking the damage off of you, you're gonna be able to sustain like more damage, and it kind of heals you, and like it'll strengthen your quirk, because it seems like you have a decent control on it. It's just like you need to increase the strength." So Izuku does this for about for half of the time that he's there, that they're there. They're working on strengthening Kirishima's quirk, and this is also boosting Izuku's quirk. And so then we flip over to what Bakugo's been doing. Well, he's actually sought out help from a few from Gran Torino to like get more combat training, because him and Izuku do know like All Might's number, and like he called up All Might asking if he can get in touch with Gran Torino, because the instructions and mobility and everything, since he has more of his stuff, and Gran Torino was really the one that really helped him out. So Kirishima and Izuku are doing their thing on the beach, and Katsuki, for the past 5 months, has been working with Gran Torino in the afternoons and during the summer break, in the afternoons and everything. So and then at the 5-month mark, Katsuki shows back up, and he's like, "Yo, Izuku, what's up? How have you been?" And at this point, he's like, Izu, like, I figured we'd spend the next 5 months kind of just working on combat. Like, I've got a few things up my sleeve. And Izuku's kind of like looking at me and laughing. He's like, "Well, I do too." And Kirishima's like, "Oh my god, you two are just so intense, so manly." And Kirishima is like, "Well, I think my quirk's strong enough. I think I really need to study because I'm not the smartest." And Katsuki's like, "Well, I think I can help you with that. Like, I am more book savvy than Izuku, even though Izuku's smarter than me. He just applies himself more to like training than like book stuff." And Kirishima just looks at Izuku, because effectively for the past 5 months he's just been a punching bag, and he's like, "Wait, you're smart?" And it's like, "Yeah, I kind of have a knack for like quirk stuff." And Izuku just kind of laughs at this. So he So over the next 5 months, Kirishima and Katsuki have been like meeting up in the afternoons, working on studying after Izuku and Katsuki, like after school, like they go to the beach and they do some workouts and like they spar. They don't use their quirks; they're just using their natural physical strength that they've developed to kind of like refine their hand-to-hand combat skills. And this is just something how they have fun with each other because they don't like outside of training and martial arts. They have very different enjoyments. Like Katsuki is more sports oriented and Izuku is more like music and stuff like that. So, but that being said, Katsuki is a little bit more book smart than Izuku, and it isn't because Izuku is dumb or anything, it's just Izuku never really applies himself in that aspect. At least not yet. Like he hasn't been using his superhuman quirk to really like improve his like knowledge base and everything. He's just spent more time on like quirks, like learning about quirks and stuff because of the nature of his own quirk is very unique, and so he's been studying about quirks and heroes and stuff. So him and Katsuki, it comes to like the entrance exam. Like they walk up to the building and everything, and like they're thinking about okay, so what are we gonna be doing and stuff like that. And Izuku doesn't trip or anything, and they still have to take. It was explained to them that they do have to take the written exam because they do have to do the written portion, but because of the program they participated in, the school knows what their physical conditions are, and so they don't have to do a practical or a physical because like they've basically already done all that. And so like they come there, they do the written exam, and then Nezu comes and gets them because he's like, well, you two should come and see what the practical exam's like and everything. And Yuzuku and Katsuki's like, but why can't we participate? And Nezu kind of looks at him and is like, you two know why we won't allow you two to participate in the practical. And they kind of laugh at each other, staring at each other. So then, like, they see Kirishima heading to the auditorium and everything, and they're like, "Yo, Kirishima, good luck on the practical." And Izuku and Katsuki are kind of like walking away, and Kirishima like yells back and was like, "Thanks, man. Thanks for the help." And so on the way to the booths and stuff, Nezu is like, so you guys helped him out? And it's like, yeah, we bumped into him like last year, and it seemed he said he wanted to go to UA, and we kind of helped him out with this quirk a little bit, and it like helped him study some. So hopefully he gets in. And Nezu's like, well, if you guys helped him out, I'm pretty sure he'll get in, but we'll just have to wait and see. Reason why I want you two here is just I want you guys to kind of evaluate some of the students and stuff and how they act. We also have some dossiers on like a few students. We were like, if you guys passed to the written exam, we kind of give you guys two special written exams just for you two because the normal one you guys wouldn't have, and we kind of noticed that you actually then we kind of just gave you a different written exam than the others. And Mizuki and Katsuki kind of look at Nezu and is like, why? And it's like, well, you'll find out later. And so Nezu like brings them up here, and they're like, wow, what's going on? And then So, like, the practical exams going on and everything. And Izuku and Katsuki are kind of watching all the monitors, looking at the students and stuff. And then Nezu's like, well, there's a lot of good candidates here. Oh. And obviously Nezu introduced the two as, like, they're his special guest, and they'll be going to UA and everything if they've passed a written exam and stuff. And a few of the teachers are off put by this, and Aizawa is kind of like bothered by it. Is like, what are they doing here? And so the entrance exam is going on, and Izuku and Katsuki are watching the monitors, and then Izuku sees, like, on one of the monitors after Nezu released the robots, that someone was trapped under the rubble, and he doesn't even talk. Katsuki kind of, like, just grabs him, and Izuku jumps off while Katsuki is sitting there, and they basically rocket off at this thing, like, going through the glass and everything. And they land next to Raka, and she's like, whoa, where'd you two come from? And Izuku is like, so, like, you wanna deal with it, or do you want to deal with the girl? And Katsuki's like, you know me, I'm gonna deal with the cutie. And Izuku's like, good, I haven't broken out this in a long time. Izuku begins to breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and on the fourth breathing out, he says release. And Izuku just launches at the robot and hits it and knocks the head off completely, and destroying part of the body and just sending it flying back. And everyone in the arena at the time is just looking at this, and they're like, whoa, he's strong. And then they just see Katsuki just picking up the rubble off of Araka and just grabbing her and then just flying off, like holding Araka with one hand and kind of like shooting his palm back and everything. And Izuku like just lands, and then he hops over to where Katsuki had landed, and he's asking Araka, are you fine and everything? And she's like, my ankle, I think it's broken. And Izuku goes, and on the fourth he says restrict, and he goes back down to like his normal form. Like, whoa, dude, that's insane. So you have an enhancement quirk? And he's like, yeah, kind of, but like that's not all. And he pulls out a knife, and everyone's freaking out. Like, everyone's freaking out and everything, as like Izuku just cuts his hand and then puts his hand on Uraraka's like ankle, and then he breathes in, like as he's breathing in, and then he breathes out, and he's like, damage transfer directed, and boom, like they hear a pop, and like they see like Izuku's body kind of like pop up and cause like a mini like sound wave, and then it goes back down, and then Araka just is kind of looking at her ankle, and she's like, whoa, what did you do? And he was like, well, one of my quirks allows me to absorb the damage from someone else. And they're like, wait, is your ankle okay? And he's like, yeah, it's fine, it's just my muscles are kind of sore because I've learned how to absorb the damage into my muscles, so, but I'll be fine. My one quirk also gives me like some regeneration, and then Recovery Girl's coming and everything, and she's like, so, Izuku, Katsuki, what are you two doing here? I thought you guys were up in the booth. Well, stuff happened. And so Recovering Girl looks at Izuku and is like, you did it again, didn't you? And everyone's just kind of looking at Izuku, and he's like, yeah, sorry. Do you mind? Because, like, I am still sore. And she's like, do you have one of your power bars on you? He's like, oh, yeah. And he eats it and everything, and this is like a high-calorie bar. And she just walks over to him and kisses him on his forehead, and like, he's like, never mind, like, I'll be fine. And so Izuku and Katsuki start walking out, and everyone kind of just, like, parts the ways because they just saw these two just come out of nowhere and just absolutely wreck. Like, one wrecked this robot, and one just, like, picked up this, like, a lot of like, blasted a bunch of this rubble off of, like, this girl and picked her up and moved her out of the way. So once Izuku and stuff get out of the arena, like, All Might's standing there, and he's like, ha ha ha, you two. I was gonna act, but then I heard the crash. You two got here before I could. Good job. And so they end the day and they go home, and they're like, so I wonder if we passed the written exam and everything. Says Izuku, and Katsuki's like, man, I know I passed, and if I passed, I know you passed. Because I am book smart, but, like, when you apply yourself, you're smarter. And Izuku's like, no, Kachon, you're smart too. And they just kind of chuckle. So a week passes, and, like, they get a letter, like, delivered. And Mitsuki comes into the backyard because they're out back playing with their little sister, because she hasn't really had a lot of time to spend with them over the first couple of years of her life, and she really likes her brothers. Like, she kind of idolizes them. She thinks they're cool. So they're out back, like, just hanging out with each other, and Mitsuki comes out back and is like, letters are here. And Izuku and Katsuki kind of look at each other, like, with excitement. They come in, they pull them out, and they were like, and they pull it out, and it says, Young Midoriya. And then Katsuki says, Young Bakugo. The reason why we didn't have you take the the practical exam, is we actually are increasing the 1A student size of the classroom to 22 students this year. You two will have a special job. You guys have completed a program, and you guys are basically going to be there to help them. You're not only going to be working with class 1A, you'll be doing your studies and everything with 1A, but you'll also help out with 1B and the general study students, on the ones that want to help develop their quirks. We're basically giving you guys two additional sheets that we opened up for 1A this year. You guys did pass your written exams, so, like, welcome to your Hero Academia. And that's where we're going to leave it off. At the next part, we're going to go over the quirk assessment. And as I was going to be a little irked, because he saw these two in a few seconds go from the observation room to the testing area, like, within a few seconds. And he's like, what are these two months? What are these two? Like, what are their quirks? Because, like, the way that they did it was kind of weird. So we'll go over all of that in the next part. I hope you guys have a fun time. And like I said, I will try to see if I can find the watermark on this one, and I'll show it. Oh, I see it right there. I see it right there. So I'll put it in. I just noticed it. I just lost it. But I'll find it again, and in the next video I'll mark it. I'll show it. But in this one, Izuku and Katsuki are pretty strong. They're more, as far as development, they're more like they're almost like the third years as far as development goes. But like they still have some ways to go. But they are going to be working with the other classes because there's a new extracurriculum that UA is going to put in for quirk improvement, like club or something, and they want Izuku and Katsuki to kind of be in this club. So that being said, this is part 1.5, and in part 2 we will cover the quirk assessment test and everything. And with that, for those who have actually watched this to the end, please give me ideas of who you want from class 1B or the general studies to take the 2 seats that were opened up from Izuku and Katsuki. That being said, have a nice time and enjoy the rest of the year.